Your commentary team for this first leg semi-final playoff between Charlton Athletic and Shrewsbury Town. Danny Higginbottom and first Gary Weaver.
Thank you, David. Well, there is nothing quite like this. The English Football League's greatest show is about to begin. For some, it's another chance. For others, it's their only chance. It will be magical. It will be brutal. It could be life-changing, career-defining. The winners will touch the stars, the rest will head home, broken, everything they've worked for gone. And they will have to start again. There is no middle ground when it comes to the playoffs. We start at the Valley, where Charlton are looking to climb the mountain, having plummeted to the depths. A club at war, but a team in harmony. Shrewsbury Town facing their demons. The magic of the playoffs hasn't quite hit Shropshire. It's been tears every time. But this team has made its town smile again. They don't listen to doubters. They're not weighed down by the history of past failures. They want to write their own story. On to tonight's teams. Lee Bowyer rested his front line on Saturday. He brings them back in tonight. Josh McGuinness is Charlton's leading scorer with 10. He is, though, still having to win a few critics over. There's a start for Steffi Mavadidi, who is a striker, but can cause problems operating in the area where he's starting tonight. Once he gets on the run, he is difficult to stop. Ahmed Kashi's presence in midfield is key. Johnny Jackson won't have his playing farewell here. The assistant manager hasn't been selected by Bowyer, but he will be in the dugout. Shrewsbury Town have mixed things up in the last few weeks, preparing for this night. They are more or less at full power tonight. John Nolan and Sean Worley are best friends off the pitch, and the pair combines a great effect on it. Over 20 goals and 20 assists between them. It was a big call to decide who plays up front. Carlton Morris gets the nod ahead of top scorer Stephen Payne, who's on the bench. Ben Godfrey will have a hugely important role to play in protecting that Shrewsbury back four. These games are intoxicating, dream-making, heartbreaking. The jewel in the crown of the English Football League. The playoffs begin next. We are live at the Valley as the playoffs prepare to get underway. So many heroes could be made in the next couple of weeks. Danny, for you, Ahmed Kashi, Charlton Athletic, how important is he?
Oh, he's had an outstanding season in midfield, composed on the ball and gives great protection to the back four. With a game likely to be a physical battle, whichever team takes control of the midfield is going to get the upper hand, and this is why Kashi will be so important this evening. And talking of midfield battles, there's likely to be very little time on the ball in this area, but in John Nolan, Shrewsbury have a player capable of creating something from nothing. With his eye for a pass, and the more Shrewsbury get the ball to him, the more they get a hold of this game.
Well, the leading man for Shrewsbury Town, John Nolan. And it looks like Shrewsbury have won the toss in terms of turning Charlton Athletic around here at the Valley. Lee Bowyer didn't think he'd be in a playoff battle as the main man a few months ago. It wasn't too long ago he was sat on the riverbank fishing, not interested in football anymore, but here he is now at the heart of the playoffs. And here's a man who knows the playoffs very, very well. For Paul Hurst, it's his 7th playoff campaign as a manager. So both teams won the away fixtures when they met in League One earlier this season. Now they all begin again as equals. After the marathon comes the sprint. The playoffs are about to begin. They are captivating, and it will be Charlton Athletic to get the ball rolling in League One. South London bathed in late evening sunshine. The referee is Simon Hooper, and away we go. Charlton, who finished 6th in League One, 16 points behind Shrewsbury Town, who almost hunted down Blackburn Rovers and Wigan Athletic, but just fell short at the end. First touch for Robin, who scored a beauty here when these two met here back in February. Ben Reeves, Rodman intervening. Here's Omar Beckles. Beckles. Carlton Morris moving for that with Jason Pearce. McGuinness. Esri Konta. Sadler with the touch for Shrewsbury Town. Kashi doing what Kashi does. A couple of seasons ravaged by an Achilles injury, Ahmed Kashi, but he's really come to the party this season for Charlton. Jay De Silva on the move. There's Mabadidi. We'll see him move inside from these kind of areas. Stopped in his tracks that time. Mabadidi again, stopped again.
Well, the wide areas, they're going to be key. We've just said about Mabadidi, but likewise Reeves on the other side. They're probably going to come in narrow, and that will create space for De Silva and Consta then to get forward themselves. And it's so important that the likes of Wally and Rodman track the fullbacks from Charlton, because they love to get forward at every occasion.
Carlton Morris guiding the ball into the path of John Nolan. Rodman. Charlton know he'll want to come inside just as he did and bet one into the top corner here at the other end back in February. Mabadidi losing out. Carlton Morris. There's already a good tempo about this game. There's Rodman. Now it's Beckles. Godfrey. There's Bolton. Jose. And Reeves picking up but hunted down. And Ciala with the touch. Already we can see that neither team is prepared to back off here.
No, they're not, and we talked about the midfield battle. It's very difficult for anybody to have a touch in that midfield area. I'm sort of saying whoever gets to dominate that area, whoever gets in top in that area can then dictate the tempo and the style of play as well.
Well, he doesn't do quiet seasons. This is 7th playoff campaign in a decade. He's won 3 of the previous 6. There's no set formula to success, he says, but the one thing he will do is go and try and win the first leg, whether it's home or away. Treat it like a one-off match from the start.
Yeah, and he said he's not too bothered whether they are home or away first. When he was at Grimsby, the first game at home against Braintree, lost that, went in the semi-final second leg away to Braintree and won the game, so it doesn't concern him, and his experience will count for a lot.
De Silva and Ciala stepping out. Dean Henderson in the Shrewsbury Town goal, the man who made an incredible, horrendous error when these two met in Shrewsbury just over a month ago and was punished by Josh McGuinness. He's waiting inside the penalty area now as Mabadidi picks up for Charlton Athletic. There's a step over, delivers the cross. That was dangerous. That's what Mabadidi can do. In by Konza, and a free header which is wide from McGuinness. Charlton banging on the Shrewsbury Town door.
It's been a good start from Charlton. What they did, it was role reversal this time on the left-hand side. De Silva went inside, created the space. Mabadidi then went further wider. And Shrewsbury weren't able to clear it. And this is what Charlton have done really well these opening few minutes. They've been winning all the second balls, and this is a lovely ball in. You just see there, McGuinness just gets ahead. Just puts the ball wide. This is what Mabadidi can bring you. The link up between him and De Silva will be key. You see the ball that comes back in here. McGuinness just gets ahead. And Ciala in that position was unable to get the shot on target.
Bauer in charge. There's Reeves. McGuinness, nicely done. Forster-Caskey marauding forward. It's Forster-Caskey! Charlton going close again. And they have a corner.
And what you're finding is the midfield support. They're getting up closer now to McGuinness. You can see straight away the runs. They trust him that he's going to hold the ball up. Forster-Caskey, who's got more of a license to get forward now, takes the shot. It's a fantastic run. I give great credit as well to Henderson, because that's a magnificent save.
Atoning for that error he made against Charlton not so long ago. Jake Forster-Caskey preparing to take this corner. Mixture of zonal and man-to-man marking from Shrewsbury Town. Henderson thought about coming for it. Guided towards Reeves. Handball appeals, did strike an arm, but not intentional by the looks of it. There's Konsa. Mavididi, who started the season on loan at Preston North End from Arsenal. Running into John Nolan. Nolan looking for Carlton Morris and finding the big striker. Kashi again, coming to the fore.
Fantastic positioning. Kashi, when his full-backs are out of shape, and he's getting back and covering really well.
Roman's cross, Carlton Morris with the touch.
Those suggestions, was there a handball? The ball did strike the hand of Rodman, but absolutely no chance that can be given as a penalty. He can't move his hand out of the way, not a chance.
That's Nicky Ajose. Fires wide, but once again he's got the Charlton Athletic fans on their feet.
Yeah, they have, and that's the difference when you're playing with two up front. You've got the big player, McGuinness, he can hold the ball up, or he can look for his strike partner, he does that. Ajose just lets it go, it creates that little bit of space, gets him beyond Enciala. It's a good strike, but just always going wide. But as I said previously, very positive start from Charlton on the front foot and making sure that when the ball goes up to McGuinness, he's getting plenty of support.
Well, it's a switch which he made as soon as he took a charge, Lee Bowyer, to play two up front. He feels you can in this league and give opposing centre-backs something else, something more to think about.
Well, I asked him the question, he said, you know, what is the reason he's doing it? He said it was something that he always preferred as a player, but not just that, you can also press higher up the pitch, so teams can't play out so easily.
Reeves digging his heels in. Beckles back in his home city tonight. John Nolan. There's Bolton. Now Worley, who could be a key man here tonight. Wants to drive in field, but stolen away from him by Mavididi. Now it's Reeves. There's Ezri Konsa. Centre back by Trey, but operating a right back again tonight. Godfrey was after him and put real pressure on Ezri Konsa.
That's what we're talking about. We're speaking about the wingers playing really now. So look how much space there is then for the fullbacks to get into. Konsa does get down there, but give great credit as well to Godfrey, who comes and does the covering. That's why I speak about the midfield areas not only being competitive, but when fullbacks are out of the equation or where they've been dragged inside by the opposition winger, then can they then fill into them spaces?
Carl Robertson, our studio guest tonight, former manager of Charlton, was really surprised that the club managed to hang on to Ezri Konsa in the January transfer window. I think Brighton came knocking for him. But Everton have scouted him extensively as well. Charlton have started the better here. Kashi. Charlton signed off the regular season with a defeat on a dramatic day at Rochdale on Saturday. Lee Bowyer mixed things up, changing his team around with an eye on this tonight. It was a calculated risk as Plymouth was still in with a chance of nicking sixth spot, but as has happened throughout his brief reign as Charlton caretaker manager, Bowyer got it absolutely spot on. Jason Pearce. That's Kashi, fired into the feet of Mavididi. Free waiting inside the Charlton penalty area, but Bolton managed to come away with the ball. This team sent shockwaves through League One this season, from strugglers to contenders. They were the only team who got near Wigan and Blackburn, who got a sight of the top two before they both disappeared into the distance. Now they must defy the odds again and stand defiant again.
Well, started the season, their aim was to get to 50 points, wanting to stay up. Then can they finish 16th, which would have been one of the best finishes that they've had. And like you say, you know, they're living the dream, and it's been an unbelievable season to him, and it's full credit to him. After this amount of games, it's not about luck. There's a real togetherness within this squad.
Omar Beckles. Shrewsbury fans bought tickets for this tonight. Beckles with the back heel. Rodman almost crept through. Miscue there from De Silva. Wally lurking behind him.
Wally's gambled, managed to get the ball in. Like you say, Silva is in a good position, and he does get it wrong, but still takes out of the way of Wally. It's comfortable enough for Ramos.
It's interesting that Lee Bowyer said he would be amazed if Ben Amos didn't win the Player of the Year this season at Charlton. Jay De Silva won it. Fouled by Konsa.
It's just a late one. Yeah. So Rodman gets there before Konsa. If anything, Rodman was able to ride the tackle well to make sure there was minimal contact.
Sandler with a free kick. Forced to Kaski. McGuinness and Ciala. You're just asking for a switch of position by the sounds of it. That's Carlton Morris, away by Pearce. The finish is one place below the automatic spots. It's usually the side that needs a bit of lifting, but not particularly in Shrewsbury's case. It's not like Fulham, where they missed out on the last day. They've had a few weeks to get their heads around the fact that the playoffs would decide their fate, and they are rightly proud to be where they are. De Silva. Jason Pearce. Shrewsbury Town look to have settled now.
Well, they have done. They've weathered that early amount of pressure from Charlton, and they would have known that it was coming. And now, you know, they can start to go into the game, and I think Paul Hurst will be happy that they've managed to see out these opening few minutes. There's been a few scares, but they've managed to stand strong.
Nolan. Wally. Carlton Morris back to John Nolan again. Needs a little bit of help, and Bolton trying to provide that, and he's got there ahead of Mabadidi. That's Carlton Morris. Asking too much of Bolton.
Speak about the midfield area. The game could well be won and lost, and it's a prime example of it. That's where the majority of the play have been. As of yet, the team really has got on to dominate that midfield area, both giving as good as they're getting.
There's Reeves. For Nicky Jose. Sadler's after him. Comes alive inside the penalty area, Nicky Jose. One of those who was given a rest of the weekend, but was still there at Rochdale on Saturday, watching the end of Northampton Oldham with the Rochdale players in the tunnel as the drama unfolded at the bottom of League One. By Forster-Caskey, away by Carlton Morris. Jay De Silva. Bauer trying to make his presence felt. Carlton Morris hit the deck, and Shrewsbury on the counter-attack here. Bryn Morris has picked out John Nolan. Nolan is closing in. It's John Nolan! It's gone behind for a corner, but it opened up there for John Nolan, Shrewsbury Town's leading man this season.
It's fantastic. This touch from Bryn Morris, absolutely brilliant. And the way they countered it, Shrewsbury, they're defending in numbers, but then when they get the ball forward to Nolan, comes inside, give credit. I think it's actually Reeves that gets back and makes the block after he'd got the better of Concert. And sends it wide for the corner, but a good break from Shrewsbury.
The majority of the Shrewsbury Town players are waiting on the edge of the Charlton penalty area, ready to make their move. Now they do make their move, and Carlton Morris with the diving header. That was the plan. Safely held by Amos.
It was a lovely ball played in from Worley. You can see the space was just created from him. He's actually got away. I think at the time it was Concert that was marking him. There's a little bit of a block. He gets there first, trying to get it into that near post, but good positioning from Amos.
A couple of moments of encouragement for Shrewsbury Town. As the assistant referee see that, he sees it as a corner.
It's good pressure from Jose. And Beckles. I don't know whether there was a touch on that on Beckles. Interesting to see if Charlton scored from this.
They're all bunched to the far post again. McGuinness in a battle. On the spin, came from Bauer, couldn't control the volley.
They're creating a problem at the far post. You can see the three Charlton players are trying to get the blocks on, and one of the players is trying to get free. And Bauer makes that run to the near post. He lets it go across him, but he just doesn't come down quick enough for him to be able to get his head over the ball.
Johnny Jackson just behind him, sat down, who won't have his fairy tale farewell as a Charlton player here at the Valley. His manager's not picked him.
You spoke to Lee Bowyer, you said they've got a really good connection. Johnny Jackson takes care of the defensive side of things, how they can stop the opposition. And Lee Bowyer looks at the midfielders and the forwards, and together they really seem to have hit it off.
Hanged his boots at the end of this season before becoming full-time coach here at Charlton Athletic, Johnny Jackson. Another Shrewsbury Town corner. It's Rodman in a little bit of distress here.
Just as he goes, just to go inside Concert, I think it's just a bit of a in hand, there's nothing much in it. But one thing I would say from both teams is that created problems from the set pieces when they've been coming into the box. Both teams have been looking dangerous from them.
Well, they're all gathered again at the far post here from a Shrewsbury Town perspective. A little bit of a different scenario to the previous corner. But they rushed in late. And it goes by Worley, and it's a thumping header. Carlton Morris, again, the man who managed to reach it.
He's making some good runs across that near post. He's just timing it, and then he's going at the last second. He gets up well, but just not able to direct it. But as I've said, both teams causing problems just with the movement. You see there, Carlton Morris stops and then he goes again. creates that little bit of space for him. Unfortunately, from his point of view, he's not able to get the shot on target.
That's twice he's had the beating of Esri Konsa, his marker. We'll have to sort that one out as Carlton Morris is left of the heap from a Shrewsbury perspective, and Patrick Bauer of Charlton Athletic. Simon Hooper, the man who is in charge of this tonight.
Just calming things down. Carlton Morris straight over just to make sure he's okay. It's a painful one, but Carlton Morris, his feet are high. Look, constantly, he's got his eye on the ball. There's no intent to cause any harm to Bauer there. By the looks of it, he's okay.
Patrick Bauer back on his feet and ready to try and make an impact at the other end of the pitch here. First time playing in the playoffs for Patrick Bauer. There's Mabadidi. Morris with the touch. Nolan. Bryn Morris again. That's Worley. Rodman lurking. Good goalkeeping from Ben Amos.
It's brilliant. It's exactly what you want. Full back at the far post, get a shout from the goalkeeper, and he comes and collects it like he does. Exactly what you want, your goalkeeper commanding the area.
There was a time when they were wondering if he was going to move ahead of David De Gea at Manchester United when De Gea had his shaky start to life at Old Trafford. Almost ended up as fourth choice. Sadler stooping low to head clear. There's Jay Da Silva. Now Mabadidi. On the move again. Also made contact with the ball. Nicky Jose. Jose, there's Mabadidi. Now Jay Da Silva. Came through Luton before he and his two brothers moved to Chelsea, but Charlton calls offside. Times have changed here. There's a great atmosphere around the valley this evening. Some fans who have been boycotting here have broken their boycotts to arrive here tonight and back the team. Charlton's future off the pitch should be sorted out in the next few weeks. The majority of fans will get their wish in seeing Roland Duchâtelet sell the club. The protests have been raging on for a good few years now. One fans group has even formed a political party in Belgium to contest a seat in Duchâtelet's hometown. From his perspective, he says he's invested money, but he is now ready to sell. Looks like it will depend, though, on which division they are in, what the price is. A slip from Nolan. Mabadidi running into trouble. There's Worley, clipped by Mabadidi.
Just has to be careful. He's going to try and play. Mabadidi comes back to try and resurrect the situation. Ends up bringing down Worley. The situation that they have there with Mabadidi, when he's coming in short and he's going in narrow, the full-back, as we just saw there, Bolton is coming all the way with him, so maybe they can bypass Mavadidi, because there's then space down the sides of the centre-back where you've got Jose in particular, who's that willing runner.
Robin, who got his head onto it that time, but every time the ball has gone inside the Charlton penalty area, Shrewsbury head has met it.
There could have been better communication, I think, there between Rodman and NCR. You see him getting free at the far post. They're giving him a shout. He's found himself in a lot of room because he'd got the better or he'd lost Reeves.
Studious character is Paul Hurst. He's been involved in the playoffs as a manager with Ilkeston in Boston. Took Grimsby into the Football League, brought them back into the EFL. This is his biggest game yet as a manager.
And he goes back to his time when he was at Ilkeston. He said, okay, it was Tuesday and Thursday training. He said, but it was still professional. I still do the same things now, although we've got more time to do it. So he believes in them work ethics, no matter what the level it is, whether it's non-league, whether it's in League One now, whether he goes further with Shrewsbury or further in his own career by getting higher up as well.
Stakaski's delivery, and Ciala rises and wins the header. This now is Ben Reeves. Beckles over the top of a Jose. Home fans calling for a foul. Referee having none of it. Ben Reeves has got free here. Chance to measure the cross. It's Bauer. Now De Silva. That's it back from Kashi. There's Omar Beckles. Not the finest pass he'll play from fullback Omar Beckles, but it looks to have done the trick. This is Rodman. A bit like Konza, though, he is a centre-back playing in a fullback role tonight. Now Godfrey. Charging at Charlton. There's the box of tricks, which is Sean Morley. He's laid it back to Bryn Morris. Amos coming up with the goods.
It's a great play from Worley. It's probably too easy there from De Silva. Allowed Worley to come inside, and he's got good support from Bryn Morris. It's a good strike. It's a good save as well from Amos to get it out of harm's way. Always curling away from Amos, taking no chances, just getting out of the danger zone.
We did see Bryn Morris denied his moment of glory at Wembley in the Checkatrade Trophy final against Lincoln City when he struck the crossbar from distance. And a different variation on the corner from where Shrewsbury Town's players are standing here. This time they're queuing up. Alton Morris was in the right area again. He was beaten to the punch that time. McGuinness, the man who won the header. Rodman. Mavadidi. By the way, you mentioned Paul Hurst possibly climbing up the ladder himself. He was yesterday odds-on candidate to take over at Ipswich Town, but Ipswich have today been given permission to talk to St Mirren's Jack Ross. So we'll see how that plays out in the next few weeks. But Paul Hurst seeing it as a compliment that he's been linked with such a big job at Portman Road. Fully focused though on matters Shrewsbury Town. Another robust challenge, Mavadidi on the end of it. Perfectly legal challenge from Sean Morley. And Ciala. De De Silva, and Enciala stepping in again. That was strong on Nicky Jose. Enciala's come off the worst.
He's always in a lot of discomfort, so he just gets there before Jose. You just see when he wins the ball here. I just wonder whether it's, looks as though it might be his left ankle, his left knee, the way he's gone down, the way he's landed. Definitely his left knee. You just see it jar a little bit there. Shrewsbury were hoping that he's okay to continue. He's in a lot of discomfort at first.
But he is such a wholehearted centre-back, Toto Enciala. If the ball is there to be won, he will win it. He will get stuck in. Sometimes too much, his manager will tell you. He's had a few running battles in the past, Toto Enciala.
Yeah, well, they've worked together before. I think Hurst knows a lot about Enciala. It was his first signing last January from Hartlepool, and he was with Hurst as well at Grimsby. And he's been a rock at the back, and there was interest from Sunderland earlier on in the season as well. But there's just no messing with him, and if you're a centre forward playing against him, you know you're in for a rough time.
He'll be a relieved man that his big centre back looks to be okay. Enciala is back with us. That's Mabadidi. Sadler. There's Rodman. Couldn't quite pick out Nolan. Charlton started the better. They had a couple of chances, but Shrewsbury Town certainly even matters up now.
Yeah, John Nolan, I think he's starting to get on the ball higher the pitch as well. What he's doing, and he's doing it well, he's getting in between the Charlton midfield and defence, looking to pick up the ball. And the problem is when you've got someone like Carlton Morris who's willing to run in behind, the centre-backs want to drop that little bit deeper. And that's where John Nolan's just getting into them little spaces. And as I said previously, the more Shrewsbury can get the ball to him, the better it'll be, because he's very good on the ball.
Well, he was in a duel there with Jason Pearce. Nolan won round one. Pearce went back for more and commits the foul.
And that's the positions that he's taking. He's making centre-backs think. Sometimes centre-backs going into areas where they don't want to go into, and that's probably the case there with Pearce, because he's actually come quite high up the pitch to engage him, because he's found himself in space, and he's a danger player. And you know, it's one of the things that Charlton would have earmarked. They said you've got to keep him quiet.
He's hungry to hit double figures for goals this season, John Nolan. He stands on 9 at this moment in time. Here's McGuinness. Forced to Kaski. Now Reeves. Charlton moving up the gears again. Reeves cross. Enciala rising. Is there a push in there? Referee says no. Was forced to Kaski hit the deck. There's Pearce, who won this league with Wigan a couple of years ago. Mavadidi. There's Bauer. Now Ben Reeves. Josh McGuinness. That's Konsa. Forced to Kaski. Late challenge by Carlton Morris on Pearce. And the referee about to dish out some punishment. I think he's saying Carlton Morris, that's my first one, but it doesn't particularly matter when it's like this.
And it is a centre forward challenge, that one where you just leave the foot in afterwards. And you see Pearce felt the full brunt of it. He's okay to continue, but that's what you're going to get in these games. It means so much, and everybody's going all over the pitch, and there will be misplaced tackles, and unfortunately From Shrewsbury's point of view, Carlton Morris ended up getting the first yellow card.
Beckles winning that particular duel. There's Reeves, who followed Carl Robinson here from MK Dons. Ben Reeves again. McGuinness will pick up. Just too much on it for Mabadidi. That's where Josh McGuinness can be key for Charlton Athletic, his ability to lay the ball off to runners in and around him. Too much on it that time. There's Sean Morley. Bryn Morris. Omar Beckles. There's John Nolan again. Licensed to roam around this pitch. Godfrey. Worley, who stepped in field. Shrewsbury have had a dip in form coming into this. They've won one of their last 7 games. That's Rodman's cross. How cool is Jay De Silva?
Unbelievable. Every time he gets the ball, he looks as though he's got so much time on it. And for a player so young to have that confidence and the coolness and the calmness is absolutely magnificent.
Mentioned he and his 2 brothers were signed by Chelsea from Luton. Cole is still at the club. Rio has since left. Jay De Silva on loan here from Chelsea. A player that Lee Bowyer has said is better than Ashley Cole was at that age.
No pressure.
Forster-Caskey finding Mabadidi. White smuggle it through to a Jose. That's Bolton. Carlton Morris. Mentioned Shrewsbury's dip in form. They've had a strange few weeks knowing they would be in the playoffs. They've been playing games that didn't really mean anything. Now they mean everything. The team has changed around in the last 4 games in preparation for this night. Forster-Caskey trying to set a Jose away.
Well, it was potentially a call for handball as it came into the Charlton box. You just see Pearce there. He goes to head it. There's his hand. That's a no on it. You see, he goes to head it there. He's just in front. There's question marks over it. It's gone to Bolton. He wants a foul there, Pearce. So it's just coming across here. And the more you look at it, the more you can think maybe Pearce has just got away with that. Maybe his initial thought, he can't get his head to it. His arm just got there, but possibly got away with one there.
Rodman. Nolan. There's Beckles. Nolan. Trying to kick out his big pal, Sean Worley. That's Toto Nsiala. Jason Pearce, the real leader at the back for Charlton Athletic.
And one thing as well, if you look at defensively, Shrewsbury, what they do, they start off defensively wise and then they look to grow into the game. And you saw Charlton started the game really well, and then Shrewsbury took the sting out of the game, and that's full credit to him. And that's one of the main reasons you see the first half goals that they've conceded this season. No one's had less than them, and that's full credit to Paul Hurst and his players and the way that they work, because you can guarantee that doesn't happen. You don't just go onto the pitch. There'll be a real understanding, and it's not about individuals, it's about collectively coming together and defending and attacking together and helping out teammates.
Mabadidi this time does get the free kick as he drew the foul in from James Bolton.
Well, because he's very good at getting the ball, and then he likes to drive inside with it. just see there that time Bolton brings him down, but there's a good understanding on that left-hand side between De Silva and Mavididi.
Yeah, pretty prolific during the last few years in the Arsenal youth team. Steffi Mavididi playing through the middle. That's where Arsenal see his future as a striker, as opposed to a wide striker where he's operating tonight. And towards McGuinness.
Now, McGuinness wants a corner, but it looks as though he got great touch at the near post, which he does. And you can just see, I think it's Pearce and Jose, they just can't get to it. They've just not gambled quick enough. And Jose in particular, as McGuinness wins it really well.
Well, the playoffs continue, the drama continues. The other League One playoffs, Scunthorpe against Rotherham, Saturday, 12 o'clock, Sky Sports Football. And then the return of this from Shropshire, Sunday, 5 o'clock, Sky Sports Football. 3 ex-Rotherham United players involved in the League One playoffs. Paul Warne, the current Rotherham manager, Paul Hurst managing here tonight, and Nick Dawes of Scunthorpe. All played in the same team, by the way. That's Jason Pearce. Bolton in a tangle with Nicky Jose. Here's Reeves. Can he conjure up here? He's picked out Mavididi. Almost crept through to Nicky Jose. Unciala slamming the door shut. Charlton coming on strong again.
Now Sadler had been dragged out with Reeves through his out of position. He gets the slightest touch in it. Give great credit to Unciala, the position that he took up at that near post to clear the danger.
Bauer makes his move towards the far post. McGuinness just in front of him. It's driven to Kashi. Not the cleanest of connections.
They've had a lot of opportunities, Charlie. They've got into some good, promising positions. And the one thing is, out of all them attempts, they're looking to get more than one on target, but it's a first half's goal. I think both managers will be happy, will be content.
He's enjoying himself in the heat of the playoff battle, Lee Bowyer, back at the club when it all started for him. He comes from just over the river, Canning Town, West Ham territory.
He's spoken openly about it. He said it's a fairy tale for him to come back to the club where it all started for him. And I think the one thing is as well, when he came, obviously became manager, and then you've got Jackson as well, who's a legend at this club. That brings the supporters together as well, and it's not just all the players and the fans are united, and there's a real feel-good factor.
Nolan. Bolton on the outside.
See there, obviously great covering again. And once again from Kashi. What he's tried to do, he's actually tried to hit it against Bolton and hitting it towards the corner. So if he doesn't get contact with Bolton, it's going to be a corner like it is. You'd be better off there just trying to put it into touch and not being too clever with it.
Well, they have been a threat from set pieces, have Shrewsbury Town. Carlton Morris trying to lose Conser again. Almost dropped there to Bolton. Bryn Morris. Mavididi trying to latch onto this. And Godfrey trying to catch up with him. Into one additional minute. Mavididi retaining possession well. There's Kashi. Charlton moving the ball backwards. A roar of disapproval from their fans, and in the end a promising position comes to nothing.
It was a good break. Seeing Mavididi once again, he's very direct, but give great credit to Godfrey. And Shrewsbury was stretched. just in that defensive midfield role. He went and covered in that right back position and just held Mavididi up until the rest of Shrewsbury players were able to get back in shape.
Pierce. Plenty of industry, no goals at the break at the Valley. The big talking point was it handball by Jason Pierce. Should Shrewsbury Town have had a penalty? The referee and his fellow officials said no. Josh McGuinness has gone close also for Charlton Town, while Shrewsbury have had a couple of chances coming away of the Morrises. At the break, it's goalless at the Valley.
Tell me. 0-0 at the Valley at half-time between Charlton and Shrewsbury Town. Carl, in this instance, the manager's got 15 minutes at half-time. How much can he do to affect the second half?
Very little sometimes. This is the most interesting quarter for me, the four that they're going to play, because you don't want to throw it away in the second half of this game, obviously, but you also want to put a goal on the board or put something on the board to take to the second leg. This, to me, I always found the two playoffs I've been in, this is the interesting quarter going into it, and because the second one takes care of itself. Knowing Bo, they'll go at this hammer and tongue second half, and I've just been worried a little bit if we go a little bit too confident with it. Will Shrewsbury pick them off like they've shown once or twice here, because they're not bad on the break either.
Just because not necessarily risking too much at this finely balanced stage.
It's hard. It's hard. You know, as a player, you can't always, you're not thinking like that when you're in the game. You want to win. Every time you go into a game of football, you want to win. And that might play into Shrewsbury's hand. And in my case, I hope it doesn't, because I hope Charlton will get the opportunities to score.
And a sense of the crowd, perhaps the home crowd, getting frustrated if it stays 0-0?
You know what it's like here. There's a number of grounds up and down the country when if it stays 0-0 and you go backwards or sideways, sometimes that can frustrate people. But if they get the goal, the roof will come off, and it'll be electric in here.
And do you think, from Shrewsbury Town's point of view, Paul Hurst mentioned before the game that he managed to quieten the crowd, that'll be in their mind as well? I
think the first 10 minutes is important, because, like I say, they do build up head of steam, Charlton. It'll be extremely difficult for the rest of the second half. But if they can take the sting out of it, they can get the free kicks, they can slow it down, we'll see.
OK, let me pass back to your commentary team of Danny Higginbottom and Gary Weaver.
Yeah, thank you, David. Lee Bowyer has made the best ever start as a Charlton manager. He took 19 points from their first 10 games. It even beats the legendary Jimmy Seed's start, the man who led Charlton from the third tier to the top tier in successive seasons, the man who took Charlton to runners-up spot in England, and the man who tried to sign Sir Stanley Matthews for Charlton Athletic. So Lee Bowyer's made a better start than Jimmy Seed. Lee Bowyer has spoken to his band of men at the break, and will be hoping that Charlton Athletic can take a lead to Shropshire for when these two meet at the Meadow on Sunday. Morley has picked out Bolton. No changes by either team at the break. Charlton 4-4-2. Bowyer likes his two strikers in tandem. Tonight it's Jose and the leading scorer Josh McGuinness. Shrewsbury Town with their formation of choice this season, a 4-1-4 under Paul Hurst. Charlton are expecting the biggest attendance of the season here tonight, hoping to hit 18,000 or more. Great noise inside the stadium, a wonderful atmosphere as well, just like the old days at the Valley. There's Omar Beckles. Patrick Bauer. Southern looking at that, it bounces through to Dean Henderson. Two goalkeepers with Manchester United links. Ben Amos at the other end, once of United. Dean Henderson, whose parent club is Manchester United, on loan at Shrewsbury, but highly rated at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he isn't. He got in the PFA Team of the Year as well. There's a lot of interest in him in January from the likes of Arsenal and Benfica as well, so he has had a magnificent season.
Jay De Silva on the move. And that could spell trouble for Shrewsbury. Aberdeen will have to go some to get to it. Well, he had closed the door on football, Lee Bowyer, buying himself a fishing lake in France. He didn't expect to be back in the game. He didn't want to be back in the game until a call from Harry Kewell came, asking him to help out with Watford's under-21s. He sought the calm and tranquility of a lake for a return to the bedlam of football.
And he said the biggest buzz that he got from that as well was working with midfield players, with young players, and actually giving them advice and seeing it then come to fruition on the pitch, and that's given him great. That gave him that real buzz to actually get into management that he didn't think he would have.
We'll be concerned here as Rodman surges forward for Shrewsbury Town. In by Carlton Morris, but nobody at the far post.
Osborne started at the far post. Sorry, not Osborne. Nolan, he started at the far post and then he come inside towards that penalty spot, but by that time Carlton Morris, he put his head down and was looking at the far post because it was an intelligent run from Nolan to get to that penalty spot where nobody had followed him.
Rodman. Ciala stepping in ahead of Reeves. John Nolan putting himself around. The start of the season, if you would have offered Paul Hurst the chance to stay up comfortably in League One after last season's relegation fight, he would have happily taken it. He didn't expect to be here. Back in the autumn time, he booked his summer holiday to start 4 days before the playoff final. He has since changed his plans, just in case.
He's actually said during the season he's had to pinch himself how well everything has gone, but the one thing he said as well, because I asked him about obviously players coming up from lower levels, and he said they've got that thirst, they've got that hunger to be good and to play at the highest level that they can, and he said that's the one thing that he's got in common with the players as well. He's had to do it the hard way, obviously as a manager coming through non-league being successful, so that's the one thing that they've got in common and the one thing that they can share, and they all pull together with that.
Wycombe's got up against Shrewsbury Town. A lot of chopping and changing with the Shrewsbury squad last summer. They wanted to change the attitude and bring players in who had been at the lower levels, as Danny mentioned, a real hunger and desire, a real pride to wear the badge of Shrewsbury Town on their chest. Reeves and Ciala. Reeves thought he was impeded, but shaking the head from the referee. Beckles, who came through the youth system at Millwall, not too far away from here on the launch pad with the throw-in. McGuinness. Nikia Jose. McGuinness with the flick, and Ciala didn't look too comfortable.
If you look at both centre forwards, I think in particular with Carlton Morris and McGuinness, it's which team can get the best balls into them, because they've shown they're holding it up, they've got willing runners getting in behind them, and the more they can get the ball to them, the more then there's opportunities and the space will open up, because what there is then is the runners come in midfield that trust the two centre forwards to hold the ball on and then get beyond them, but the service into them has to be right so they can take that touch and then bring others into play.
There's Worley, Carlton Morris. Bolton is away from De Silva. There's Nolan, wants it back, just had to readjust. John Nolan didn't get it back in the area he was expecting. And now it's Mabadidi leading the breakout for Charlton. Stopped in his tracks by Bryn Morris, who's having a really effective game at the heart of the Shrewsbury midfield.
They do really well, Shrewsbury. They've got a great defensive record because of it. When they lose the ball, if they can't win it back straight away, they get back into shape. And then what you see is that none of the players are really isolated. They all help each other out around the pitch.
Ben Reeves passing up the opportunity to slide the ball to Konza on the far side. Carlton Morris, nicely done to Worley, who controlled it beautifully with his back. Konza having to scurry back, having made the offer further up the pitch, but he's done well. Running into Omar Beckles. Godfrey. Beckles. Grumbles beginning to spill down from the stands at the Valley. There's Mabadidi. Now Kashi. Forster-Kaski. Ciala putting himself around. There was no foul there on Mabadidi. This is John Nolan. He's got the best chance of the game so far. Worley finding Carlton Morris. Worley was after Jay Da Silva. Again, just such a cool head on those young shoulders, Jay Da Silva. A joy to watch in this left-back position. Kashi hunted down by Nolan. A couple of players slipping over now. Too much on it for Rodman.
Probably just having a little bit of problems with it at the moment. You look at Contra and look at Da Silva, they want to get forward, but because Shrewsbury are putting quite a bit of pressure on now, they're the only width. So the only width is really coming from the full-backs. But if they're not getting forward, it's all in field. And that's where Shrewsbury are really happy, because that's where they've got a number of bodies, and as you can see here, that's where they're winning the ball back in numbers and then looking to go again.
It's great to see the Valley united again. As we mentioned in the first half, they still have the ownership issue going on at the moment. It looks like it will be resolved in the summer and the club will be sold. Pierce. Da Silva. Jose is shaken off Ciala. He's got Reeves, Sam McGuinness to his right. Here's Ben Reeves. Robin tracking back and Godfrey stepping in, as he so often has this season for Shrewsbury Town.
And that's what we're talking about. The first touch, it's always inside, and that's where Shrewsbury's have got the body. They've got the bodies in there, and now you've got to give great credit to Shrewsbury for doing that, because they're not allowing the two full-backs of Charlton to come forward. It's a late challenge from Beckles, from Konsa.
Fans whipping up a storm here at the Valley. How the mood has changed. Who have fought for so much in the past before, not least moving back to the Valley. Henderson's coming for this. Good decision. Richard Murray, the man who was pretty much at the top on a day-to-day basis here. In conversation with Roland Duchâtelet, quite often the owner who's back in Belgium. Dean Henderson has hit the deck here after coming for that initial ball. He may just have injured himself.
Yeah, he's made sure his team kept a high line so he can come out. So he's just caught McGuinness, not much in it whatsoever, but it's a painful one for him.
Well, we saw him get absolutely flattened by Lincoln City's Matt Reed in the Checkatrade Trophy final. He managed to recover from that. Looks to be okay here. But it was Josh McGuinness, the man who embarrassed him with that goal at Montgomery Waters Meadow back in April, and then the Charlton players had great joy in taking the mickey out of Dean Henderson, who is a confident chap, shall we say.
Well, it's all part of the learning process for youngsters. That's why I always say that, you know, when you talk about under-23 football and what have you, there's nothing that beats first-team football where it means something more and there's so much on the line. And you know, he really has enjoyed his season, had a magnificent season, and you know, grown his stature due to that.
Well, they've not stopped singing since they arrived at the Valley, those that have travelled down from Shropshire. It will be the first club in England, Shrewsbury Town, to adopt the new rail seating system, which will be installed in the summer. The first event, a Lionel Richie concert.
We're going?
Our tickets are booked, Danny. Bryn Morris finding Carlton Morris. That's Bolton. Here's Forster-Caskey. Darren's been involved in playoffs before. John Forster-Caskey. Carlton Morris. Now it's Cashy. There's Reeves. McGuinness. De Silva. Now Mabadidi. There's Nicky Achose running into Nsiala. His work off the ball has been questioned in the past, Nicky Achose. He really comes alive inside the penalty area. Lee Bowyer has said that he's not working more, but working differently.
Well, I think with someone like Jose, when you're going to play him in the team, you've got to create them opportunities for him, and I think that's part of the fact. If you play with two up front, you can get wide players getting further forward as well, joining in. Then the hope then is that more chances will be created for him, because like you say, he's very much a box player who's a very good finisher.
Here's taking out Carlton Morris.
It's been a good battle between the centre forwards and the centre backs. You see the strength here, Carlton Morris, and there can be any argument there. Morris, you could see his shirt was being near enough ripped off him. High pace.
Nsiala's ball forward. Fosu looks to be stripped off and ready to come on for Charlton Athletic. A winger who was ruled out for the rest of the season a couple of weeks ago. Jay De Silva. There's Mabadidi, alternating strongly. Here is that change. Off goes Steffi Mabadidi. And on in his place comes Tariq Fosu. Mabadidi, who's had a couple of moments in this game. He goes off. On comes Tariq Fosu. As I mentioned, was ruled out for the remainder of the season, including the playoffs, with a hamstring problem. Would have been a a massive loss for them. But he's back in the nick of time for Charlton Athletic. Silva asking too much of Ezri Konsa, just got it wrong. The left back trying to find the right back. Here's John Nolan trying to create things for Shrewsbury Town. Just manages to pick up pockets of space, John Nolan.
Yeah, well, obviously both fullbacks have gone forward, so Konsa was out of the equation. And then the players got dragged down. Nolan was able to get the better of them, but give credit to Bauer's great defending coming across from that centre-back position when his fullback was caught out upfield because of the misplaced pass from De Silva.
Well, the set pieces have been threatening.
I think what they're trying to do here, if you look at the Shrewsbury players, they're just trying to get that block in there and trying to create that little bit of space. One of the other players to actually go and get into it, whether it be Enciala or Beckles.
Two hands raised by Sean Worley. Ball went towards Omar Beckles, and Enciala tried to make life awkward for Ben Amos, who dealt with it brilliantly. The kind of form which is why Lee Bowyer thought he'd be named as the club's player of the season, Ben Amos.
He was brilliant. He came through a group of players. He have caught his own player in the face on the way down, but that's what you want from your goalkeeper as a centre-back, as a defender. If he clears the ball but ends up punching you, you'll deal with that. So that's what you want from your goalkeeper, to come off his line and really dictate in the 18-yard box.
Mohamed Kashi back on his feet. There's Worley. Gets it back from Nolan. Squeezes the cross in, but too much on it for Robin, who will try and retrieve it here. There's Konsa for company. John Nolan taken out. Kashi with the challenge.
Nolan just too quick. Kashi, it's all about this first touch, just getting out of his feet. And you see just after that, Kashi rise. We're all starting to see now John Nolan starting to get more involved in the game. What he's doing, and I think he's been very clever about it, is in particular down the right side, Konsa's looking to get forward. Shrewsbury winning that ball back, he seems to be drifting more over to that left-hand side because he believes that's where the space is, and that's why he's starting to get more time and space on the ball.
Sean Worley, 15 assists to his name this season. Morris being watched by Konsa. Miss it from Nolan. Fosu, South Londoner, scrapping for his team from South London. There's Omar Beckles. Now Rodman. That's Sadler. Landing perfectly onto the boot of Worley. Worley towards Carlton Morris. Again, the danger was seen. And snuffed out by Bauer, who concedes the free kick, but the main part of his job was done.
Brilliant initially from Bauer. De Silva was taken out of the game, and that's what you want from the centre-backs. Can you sniff out the danger? You just seen where he actually starting position. He's right over on that far side. But he sees now this is where he has to make that recovery run, because Pearce is dragged out of the game as well, because he's had to go over. It's fantastic defending, but this little bit at the end, not so much.
Sean Worley with eyes on this again. Omar Beckles, Carlton Morris, Toto Enciala are all in there. James Bolton as well, being watched by a Jose. Worley has pulled it back to Nolan, who skips it over the top of Beckles.
He worked it really well. Just finds himself in space. He tried to put it across. It's just too high for Beckles, but once again, the set pieces are inventive from both teams, as we've seen. And sooner or later, one of the teams are probably going to have some joy from it. I think Shrewsbury, they'll be delighted the way that this second half has gone. What they've done, they've just not allowed Charlton to settle, and that's meant that Shrewsbury have been able to get on the front foot. And as you can see, they're starting to ask questions now of Charlton in that final third.
They have the third best away record in League One this season, Shrewsbury Town, 41 points. They've never won more points in their history in senior football away from home than that. Silly foul from Bryn Morris.
Just slows things down. I'm sure Ossu can't get on his way, and Bryn Morris just steps across.
Wants him to take the free kick a little bit quicker and get on with things, Lee Bowyer. There's Nolan picking up pieces again. We're finding Sean Morley. Those two often pass to each other, too much sometimes for Paul Hurst's liking. Share the car journey into work from Liverpool every day. Apparently together at the training ground they are trouble. Split them up and they're quiet. There's Rodman. Now Bryn Morris. John Nolan once more. Heading towards the final 20 minutes. Shrewsbury Town will take this. Goalless at the Valley. They will welcome Charlton to their stadium on Sunday. Although Charlton did win there back in April. Rodman. It's Beckles. Another important intervention from Bauer. Nolan. The momentum is with Shrewsbury Town right now. It's Godfrey. De Silva. There's McGuinness. Wilson getting there ahead of Nicky Jose. Wilson wasn't hanging around. Wilson, who by his own admission thought he was joining a relegation fight when he signed for Shrewsbury in the summer. Stepping up a couple of levels after his move from Gateshead. It's pretty much a trademark signing by Paul Hurst. A player who's had to fight for his career through the leagues and non-league to make it into the EFL.
I think what comes with that as well with Paul Hurst, there's a real appreciation, and when you have an appreciation and you've got a number of players that are like that, and that breeds a really good togetherness in the dressing room, and that goes a long way in Shrewsbury. They've shown that they've got some fantastic individual talents, but in terms of collectively they're stronger because of that.
Rodman driving at Charlton. Rodman just too much on it. It was behind John Nolan, who slipped in any case.
Now, one thing people do say about Shrewsbury is that they're the hardest working team in the league, and we're seeing that in this half, the way they're starting to get through. Charlton, it's a great run from Rodman. It was just too late. Possibly he's been played on side by Pearce, but it just wasn't quite right. But same from Shrewsbury, you know, they're looking stronger as the game's going on.
Charlton will want to edge ahead in this contest, but they have to make sure that they leave Someone minding the shop at the back as well. Nicely done by Fosu. He's got the free kick. The assistant referee on the far side flagged immediately.
It's brilliant from Fosu. It's exactly what he's capable of. Gets the better of Beckles. And Bryn Morris just with the late challenge. And saw that his left back, Beckles, was out of the equation. He wasn't going to get to the ball first, so he had to make sure that ball and man didn't get past him.
He's one short of hitting double figures for goals, is Tariq Fosu this season. Pierce to the far post, Bauer just in front of him, McGuinness in front of him. Forced to Kaski, trying to catch out Henderson. Stefan Payne will be coming on shortly for Shrewsbury Town. What will be a straight swap for Carlton Morris. Robin raising his boot. And he is yellow carded despite his protestations.
Yeah, Conser gets there before, gets his head to it. And as you can see, when we spoke about the high foot earlier on, Rodman was actually looking at Conser, and I think that's what's led to the yellow card for him.
Substitution for Shrewsbury, placing number 9, Carlton Morris.
Well, there's a big call by Paul Hurst on who to play up front here this evening. It was Carlton Morris who got the nod ahead of the top scorer, Stefan Payne. And now Stefan Payne comes into the action. Another who has come through the non-league routes. Played for Dover and Hornchurch and Sutton. And from not too far away from here, born in Lambeth. He will take this right now. There's Nicky Ajose, and it's Reeves!
It's good link-up play between the two centre-forwards initially. McGuinness has a lovely little ball to Justin. It's a wonderful layoff. Great strike as well. And Reeves just not able to keep it down. A good link-up between the two centre-forwards, and then Reeves, as we've spoken about before, coming narrow off that right-hand side.
He does like a spectacular goal, does Ben Reeves. Well, Charlton will be looking to guard against adding to that particular total. Because as we know, Shrewsbury Town will keep on going.
I asked him about the fact of obviously conceding so many late goals in the Bowyer, and it's more a case of, he said, yeah, it's something we want to stop, but a lot of time they weren't having the look. There was ricochets going in, and we put it down to a certain extent to look more than anything else that was going on the pitch. And he said, the Bowyer, since he's coming, he's been absolutely brilliant, he's been magnificent, he's just taken to it so well, and he's learning all the time as well.
Joe Aribo will be coming on shortly for Charlton. There's Tariq Fosu, who's looking lively. Trying to outwit Nsiala. I suppose that's one way of dealing with Tariq Fosu.
Substitution for the Annex.
It's Ben Reeves who will make way, and on comes Joe Aribo, who they have high hopes for here at the Valley. They are recommended to the youth team coach Jason Newell by Marcus Gale, who Aribo was playing under at Staines.
Rebo, obviously when Lee Bowyer was assistant manager here, one of the things he was tasked with was working with the midfielders, and he noticed that Rebo kept getting caught with the ball due to his body position, coming towards the ball, but he said now he's worked with him and opening himself up. And he said it's just brought him on leaps and bounds, on the fact that he's listened to what Bowyer had to say and taken it all on board, and it's helped him no end.
Yeah, 21-year-old who's making real progress here. Just a couple lately injured. Before that, he was flying. Well, will a set piece be key here? We've seen both teams concerned with defending each other's set pieces. And again, it's Sean Worley who is the conductor here. Too deep though from Worley. Unlike him, which is why he's frustrated with himself. Jason Pearce. Vinciala. Forster-Caskey. Rebo going in low as Godfrey went high. Although not too high, it has to be said. Fosu, Jay Da Silva, Kashi. Fosu gives chase and gets there ahead of Bolton. And for the spectacular, he had options left and right, Tariq Fosu. There's Rodman. Now Omar Beckles. Actually is the chairman of Shrewsbury Town, 22 years as chairman. Shrewsbury fan since he was a boy. Chairman in 1996. He was in charge of a stadium which was 97 years old, the old Gay Meadow, which is squeezed between the river and the train station. Couldn't get insurance on the stadium. Average gauge 2,500. Times have changed. That's Nolan! It's special from John Nolan! Shrewsbury Town, the team who've stood tall amongst giants in League One this season, are making their presence felt again. And their star man, John Nolan, has scored a beauty.
Well, we've talked about the ability that he possesses, and this is it in a nutshell. First of all, he does really well, Worley, because he comes over, drags Da Silva in, that creates a space then. But John Nolan, what a strike that is. We've spoken about the fact that Amos has been in great form, possibly a contender for Player of the Year. Doesn't matter who you've got in net for that. That is an absolutely outstanding finish. But the build-up play, give great credit as well to Payne, just to head it down. But then that man, John Nolan, we spoke about him getting more on the ball. We knew he could dictate play. And now you know he can do this as well.
He was hungry for double figures in goals this season. He has just delivered in style. Well, he will be shattered by his team conceding in the final 10 minutes here. It's something Charlton have done regularly this season, but it won't be over yet. However, John Nolan, star man, star turn, touched the stars with that goal.
That was absolutely brilliant. You know, he is very well thought with the football club. He's been affectionately nicknamed as Son of, as a manager. Allhurst loves him, and you can see why. He looks so good on the ball, and that finish, the difficulty of it to keep the ball down and to put it right in the top corner where no goalkeeper's going to get it.
Can Charlton hit back here? It's Fosu. So many red shirts in the middle, but none where the ball went across. There's Forster-Caskey. And it's over the top. Nicky Ajose.
It's another great strike. Just see Ajose just going into that little bit of space. And the contact he's got on it, it is a fantastic effort because he's actually backing away all the time as he hits it. It's just rising all the time, but nonetheless, a great effort.
Well, he's been quite outspoken and honestly Bowyer in saying he doesn't believe his Charlton team will lose over 2 legs in these semi-finals. And there is a second leg to come, of course, on Sunday, but at the moment it's Shrewsbury Town who hold all the cards. There's Jay De Silva. So a push by McGuinness, there was. Shrewsbury Town facing their demons. This is the 4th time they've been involved in the playoffs. The previous 3 have ended in failure. But this man knows the way to the winner's podium in the playoffs. There's Bryn Morris, now Bolton. The Shrewsbury fans will not be getting carried away, but some of them may just be dreaming a little bit of games against Stoke City and West Bromwich Albion next season. Pretty much are not far off local derbies.
Talk about the goal, it's an exquisite finish, but look at the running off the ball as well. You can see here, it's Worley that goes inside. De Silva has no option but to go over, but because he's done that, that left-hand side has been free. And Nolan's had the intelligence to go and get in there. Just watch this strike again. We talk about the movement of the ball from place, but it's how he gets his body over the ball to actually keep it down. And as I said previously, there's no goalkeeper stopping that wonderful goal.
Textbook technique from John Nolan. Player who believes his attitude has held him back in the past. Felt his time at Grimsby under Paul Hurst was his final chance in making it in football. Released by Everton as a youngster. Bryn Morris looking to react. Fosu beats him to the punch. Too much on it though for Aribo and dealt with by Beckles. Charlton fans doing their bit again just to try and rally their team here. The wind taken out of their sails by that fabulous strike from John Nolan. Jason Pearce. There's De Silva. De Silva again, away from Worley. Referee has seen the foul and played on. Fosu stopped in his tracks by Nsiala and fizzed in by De Silva. No one there in a red shirt to get on the end of it.
It's a great run from De Silva. Watch this defending from Nsiala. He has to get this spot on. He does exactly that. You just see the ball just putting too far ahead. Oh my goodness.
Problems, but still another 90 minutes to come to rectify it. Ciola's there again and was caught by McGuinness.
Another important challenge. Menciali gives everything, and it's just a late challenge from McGuinness. It's been a real battle between the centre-backs, the centre-forwards. They've given everything that they've got.
He's another one who almost gave up the game, Toto Inciola. Had a year out of football, was going for job interviews. He almost got a job printing T-shirts, and then he ended up going on trial in Vietnam. Playing for a team there, but apparently didn't get paid during his time there, and eventually ended up at Accrington, then Hartlepool, as well as Grimsby. And now really putting himself around here tonight.
Substitution for Shrewsbury.
Sean Worley makes way. Joe Riley, the man who will replace him, as Shrewsbury now look to hold on to what they have, this one-goal lead. They've almost done the job in this first leg.
Is number 2, Joe Riley.
So Joe Riley, a fullback by trade, did play in central midfield against MK Dons last Saturday in the final game of the season. He comes on. Looks like he's going to play on this right-hand side just to provide a bit more cover for James Bolton. Zero, ready to enter the fray for Charlton, the big Polish striker on loan here from Wolves. Lebo, you will not want to gamble too much because the second leg is to come on Sunday. Something happened off the ball there as Josh McGuinness went down, spotted by the assistant referee Akil Housen. We'll have 4 additional minutes. Charlton with 4 minutes to rescue this first leg. Charlton are making this change now, and it's Nicky Ajose who goes off. And on comes Michael Zero, just to add his physical presence here to this set piece.
Now, you know, he has got that physicality, and one thing Shrewsbury have got to do now, quickly, they've got to sort out who's going to be marking him. Fresh on, they want to be making sure that he is heavily marked because there's a physical presence in there.
Swung in to McGuinness.
Credit to Shrewsbury, they held the line really well, so when the ball eventually comes to McGuinness, he's having to get the power on it himself. Just see how they hold the line until the last minute. It means that it makes it easier then for Henderson. There's not as much power on the head as it would have been if it was closer in.
Bryn Morris, Payne. There's Riley. Wants to keep the ball in play, but stolen away from him by De Silva. The tension of the playoffs. One gentleman's had enough. He hasn't. Shrewsbury change on the way. Linnell John Lewis is readied for action, and it will be the goal scorer John Nolan who he replaces.
A massive part to play in this game, and I think he's grown in confidence as the game's gone on as well. And spoke about the quality of the technique that he's got, and it doesn't get much better than this. As he hits it, both feet off the ground, and that technique to keep the ball down. He couldn't have put it in a sweeter spot if he'd have tried.
You could see one Charlton fan behind the goal there had his hands outstretched as if to say that's going over. A moment of magic from John Nolan, and he's replaced by Linnell John Lewis. Thumped away by Jason Pearce. There's a Rebo. Final minute of additional time. A playoff first leg in which Charlton started the better, but Shrewsbury then found their feet, drug their heels in, and scored a classy goal to possibly settle this first leg. Such a contrast, but that is what the playoffs bring. They won't be getting carried away though just yet. John Lewis, that's Jay Da Silva, McGuinness, Bolton, Da Silva again. Rebo almost taken out by Enciala. Rebo did Enciala a favour though. Charlton looking for a big finish. The game is almost finished. They're having to get the ball back themselves here. Don't force the Kaski. It is steep here at the Valley, as the name would suggest. To climb those stairs to retrieve the ball. Well, Charlton trying to climb back to their feet and score a late equaliser here. Forster-Kaski's delivery. Rodman clearing away for Shrewsbury, but Charlton with another corner. The tense final few seconds of the first leg at the Valley. And the referee about to add to the drama by sorting out a dispute in the middle.
John Lewis is just trying to keep Zero out of the way of getting into Henderson's path so he can't come for the ball, and that's why it's all important that the play's in the right position for the keeper.
Deeper delivery this time from Forster-Kaski, a thumping header from Pearce. Shrewsbury Town defied the odds in the league this season, and now they're standing defiant in the playoffs. Round one goes to Paulhurst men. They will take a lead back to Shropshire, where everything will be decided on Sunday. John Nolan, class act, with a moment of real class, finding the top corner with a beautifully controlled volley to win the day for Shrewsbury Town. It's a one-goal advantage that they will take from South London to Shropshire. Dean Henderson heavily involved in the contest. Josh McGuinness heading wide in the first half. This is not done yet, it's not settled yet, but Shrewsbury Town have a slender one-goal advantage.
They do, and Charlton started the game really well, and Paulhurst will be delighted because they weathered that early storm and then grew into the game. And then as the second half started to evolve, Charlton started to become more stretched, and it was difficult for them to get on the front foot, but give full credit to Shrewsbury. But from Charlton's point of view, they're not out of this yet. It's only half-time, and as we've seen recently from Charlton, they can score goals, so it makes for a very interesting second leg.
John Nolan was desperate to hit double figures for goals this season. He missed a couple at Bradford City in front of the live cameras a few weeks ago. It was playing on his mind, but he has struck tonight and scored a belter. Lee Bowyer is just having a word or two with referee Simon Hooper as he leaves the field. Not too sure what that was about. I'm sure we'll find out afterwards. But he certainly left his calling card there. So let's get some reaction from the Shrewsbury Town camp. Let's join Jonathan Oakes.